Welcome to a brand new set of devotions called Christian Terms and Definitions. It sounds boring, but it's not, because a lot of times, and I said this a couple weeks ago in church, we have words that we use as people that go to church that frankly, many people don't know what they mean. And to be honest, as Christians, we don't know what they mean. So we thought for this week, and then we're going to do another set of these in the coming weeks, we thought maybe we'd give you some of these terms so that you have a deeper appreciation for the lingo that gets thrown around in church. And also it'll help you to understand God better. So let's take a look at these and see what we think. The first one is one of the most misunderstood one, and that is Christ. You've heard Jesus referred to as Christ, which a lot of people, have associated it with being his name. Like it's his last name. When in reality, the word Christ isn't Jesus' last name. His name is Jesus, but his title is Christ, because the word Christ means anointed one or Messiah. Christ means the anointed one. So it's not something that we would do as like what his actual name would be. It would be his title. And what does that mean? It means that he was anointed by God, that he was selected by God, that he was sent by God. And in the time that Jesus came, they were awaiting for this person to come who was called the Messiah, the anointed one. They were waiting for him to come. Jesus fulfilled that. He is the Messiah. He's the fulfillment of all the things that the Messiah would do. And he came to the world exactly as was predicted, but he was rejected because it didn't look the way that they expected him to look in terms of how he behaved, in terms of how he treated the government, in terms of how he treated the enemies of God, in terms of how he treated people that were in sin. Jesus defied all that, but it didn't change anything because he was still God's anointed one. He was the living, breathing Word of God, the sent one of God, the anointed one. Let's take a look at how this looks in practicality. Matthew chapter 16, verse 16, it says, Simon Peter replied, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Jesus was named by Peter, but he calls him the Christ, meaning this is his title. It would be saying like, if I became the president of the United States, highly unlikely because I'm not running this year. But if I did become the president, you wouldn't call me Sam President as being my last name. You would say Sam, the President of the United States, right? So Jesus is the same way. I know this sounds weird, but a lot of us, we forget that we get used to using these terms, and we forget just how much meaning is packed into this. When you say the name Jesus Christ, when you use his name, when we actually say Christ, you're referring to the fact that he is God's sent and only Son. He's the sent anointed one, which should make us excited. It should make us excited that implied in the name that is most associated with him is the fact that he is anointed and that he is approved by God to be called the Messiah, the Christ. So, learn the terms and appreciate more what they mean.